Good evening, South Mississippi. Meteorologist Taylor Graham here in the newsroom on this Saturday evening. Turned out to be a pretty nice day for many of us. There were a few isolated showers and storms, and in fact, we did have a severe thunderstorm in southern Hancock County at some point this evening. Things are much calmer at this time. We still have a few isolated showers and storms around the area. Many of us, though, are going to stay dry throughout the rest of tonight. So I can't completely rule out one or two stray showers or thunderstorms overnight tonight. Rain chances will stay pretty low as we get into Sunday morning, and our temperatures will generally drop into the mid-70s on the coast. We may see some low 70s a little bit farther inland. Tomorrow, it is going to be a hot day, no doubt about that. We will be back into the mid-90s by the afternoon. There is a chance the humidity may be a little bit lower tomorrow compared to what it was today. It's not going to be anything too drastic. We'll take any relief that we can get. So tomorrow, maybe some slightly lower humidity into the afternoon. That being said, it's still going to be hot with temperatures in the mid-90s, and it should be a pretty nice day for the pool because our rain chances are looking pretty slim. Can't rule out maybe one or two isolated showers and storms in the afternoon, but it looks like the majority of South Mississippi is going to stay dry. Right now in Gulfport, we are at 83. Heat index still coming in the low 90s thanks to those dew points in the 70s. And as you can see here, we still have a few isolated showers and storms across the area. It looks like we've got a few of those that have just moved offshore or over the sound in Jackson County, just south of Pascagoula near Gaucher. Also noticing a few isolated showers in Stone County. These are mainly to the east of Highway 49. By Sunday morning, our rain chances are looking a little bit lower, but just a heads up that overnight tonight, I can't completely rule out a few more of these hit or miss showers across the area. So the overall setup right now, well, we have a stalled front that's pretty much right on top of the Gulf Coast. Now that's going to slide a little bit farther to the south tomorrow and into Monday. As it does so, it will bring in some slightly drier air. That second cold front that I have up there to our north and west, this is going to be the front that will give us a better chance of seeing some drier air, lower humidity by the middle of the week. And there's a chance that by the middle of the week, we could see some morning lows in the 60s. Not really anticipating a drastic cool down, but for the middle to end of August, we'll take any cold front that we can get to give us maybe a little bit of relief. Tomorrow, again, not bad. We'll start off the day in the low to mid 70s. We're going to be in the mid 90s in the afternoon. And while many of us are going to stay dry, there is still a chance for a few isolated showers and storms in the afternoon. And because it's still going to be so hot, there's still going to be a lot of energy in the atmosphere. One or two of those storms could be on the strong side with some heavy downpours and also some gusty winds. But it does seem like the majority of us tomorrow are going to stay dry. So we'll stay tuned on that. Into Monday and into Tuesday, a bit more of the same. Starting off on Monday with some slightly drier air possibly. Looking at lows, upper 60s, low to mid 70s on the coast. We're still going to be hot during the afternoon. Hopefully we'll get a little bit of some drier air at that point. And then on Tuesday, if that front moves far enough to the south, some spots could be seeing morning lows in the 60s. I'm a little skeptical at this time that's going to happen on the coast. It may not be until Wednesday and Thursday of next week when that drier air settles in a little bit more. We'll have a better chance of seeing those 60s along the coast. However, it does seem like models are in decent agreement that at least by Tuesday, the humidity will be a little bit lower. Same on Wednesday. European model, not as aggressive with the drop in the dew point by the middle of the week as the GFS, but even then, it's showing that signal that drier air is going to be moving in from the north. Now, this is the GFS model. It is much more drastic with that drop in the dew point. I would say dew points in the 40s and low 50s for this time of the year. That's pretty hard to get. So I am skeptical of what the American or GFS model is showing right now. Nevertheless, it does seem like by Tuesday and Wednesday, we're going to be seeing a push of drier air into South Mississippi. And because it is going to be drier, it will be a little bit easier for us to cool down at night. Still going to be hot during the afternoons, but in the mornings, it's when it's going to be feeling a lot more comfortable. Temperatures in the morning on the coast by Wednesday and Thursday, flirting with the upper 60s. Now, if you live farther inland, you're going to have a better chance of seeing those upper 60s by the middle of the week. And that could even happen as early as Tuesday morning. Wednesday morning, Thursday morning, Friday morning, inland areas, you have a better chance of getting into the mid to upper 60s. So it's not going to be too terribly drastic, but as we know in South Mississippi, summers are brutal. They're so hot and humid. Any little bit of relief is going to feel pretty nice. So we do have a lot to look forward to, it seems like, this upcoming week. Not only that, we don't have any tropical threats right now to the Gulf Coast. Now, we do have a new tropical storm. This is Tropical Storm Fair-Non. I know it may not look the way it's pronounced, but it is pronounced Fair-Non. It developed today in the central Atlantic, and we also have another tropical wave, also known as Invest 99L. That is in the central Atlantic. That is moving westward, and it possibly could be moving into the Caribbean over the next few days. We'll start with Fair-Non. Looks like we did get in the latest 10 o'clock update. That may have literally just happened a few moments ago. As of 10 o'clock, looks like winds are still at 40 miles per hour. Really not expecting much with Fair-Non. It is going to be staying out to sea, not impacting the U.S., nor is it going to be impacting the Gulf Coast. So this is going to be a fish storm. Thankfully, we can cross this name off of our list as a storm that's not really going to be impacting too many people, that's for sure. So it may strengthen a little bit more over the next few days, but eventually it's just going to be heading out to sea. Then our next tropical wave that we're watching, Invest 99L, development chances have been bumped up a little bit from where they were at earlier today. National Hurricane Center gives it a medium chance of development. Notice there winds estimated to be about 40 miles per hour, still not looking at a well-defined center. So that's why it's not considered a tropical storm at this time. Let's see, sometimes I have a little bit of an issue showing the spaghetti plots, and hopefully they will pop up here. There we go. So models in pretty good agreement that it is going to be passing into the Caribbean over the next few days. Where it goes once it heads into the Western Caribbean, a lot of unknowns. But I will say conditions in the Caribbean don't look that favorable for development, at least the Western Caribbean. So a lot of our forecast models are not really doing much at all with the system through about August 26th, 27th, 28th. So we'll keep an eye on things, that's for sure. For the time being, it is not considered to be a threat to the Gulf Coast, but we are getting closer and closer to the peak of hurricane season, so of course we will continue to monitor that. If it were to get a name, the next name on the list is Gabrielle. So we will be on letter G at that time. So we are getting into the peak of hurricane season. We are wrapping up the month of August. Knock on wood, it looks like the Gulf is going to be okay throughout the rest of the month of August. However, heading into September, that's when we get into the peak of hurricane season, where historically we have the most tropical systems across the Atlantic basin. So we still have a ways to go before the end of hurricane season, but at least we can cross off August, it seems like, without the Gulf being under the gun of any sort of storm. Stay tuned. I know things can change, but at least for the time being, it really looks like we're going to be a-okay throughout the end of the month. Now, September, that could be a different story. Again, we have a lot to get through throughout the rest of hurricane season, but not a bad 7-day forecast. Still going to be hot tomorrow, hot on Monday and Tuesday, but it does look like the humidity will be a little bit lower over the next couple of days. By Wednesday and Thursday, that's when we should start to feel that drier air really move in from the north. If that plays out, we will be seeing some morning lows in the 60s, which is pretty nice for the end of August. And heading into Friday and this upcoming Saturday, also keeping our rain chances fairly slim. Each and every day we'll have a small chance for a few isolated showers and storms. It just looks like the majority of South Mississippi is going to be staying dry over the next few days. That being said, still can't rule out a few of those isolated showers and thunderstorms. So time now is 9:46. We will be having our newscast coming up in about 15 minutes at 10 o'clock. So hopefully you can join us there for another look at your forecast and also all of the news that you need to know in South Mississippi. So we hope to see you at 10 o'clock.